in the Bria, in the creation of the world, this is what we call that Hashem there's a designer. Because if something is so consistent, and every single one of these stars is consistently the same, and every one of these colors is consistently the same, there's a design. Look at this. Now you look at the vast. It's like there's so many of them. It just keeps going and going and going, and there's new ones coming. And you know what? They bloom at the same time every year. And there's a plan. There's purpose in creation. And I just said I have to share this because you really, really see here, you see what's going on in the world, that there's a creator, there's a designer. And we say it, En sur kelohenu. There's no rock like our God. We say that En sur kelohenu in Tefillah Hana. But the Gemara says, Al tikre sur ela siyor, an artist. There's no artist like our God. Look at this. I'm telling you, I said, Hashem loves us. He created this for us and all the colors and the beauty. He loves us very much. So I just wanted to start by sharing that. Okay, sorry if I got a little mushy there, but I think it's important because at the end of the day, you know, we got to see the beauty. We got to see the love that the Hashem has. That's pure love. There's no other reason. I have no idea why that's there. And you see the purpose, you see the design. It gives you a big chizuk. And we have to look at those things on a daily basis. So we're going to talk tonight, Be'ezat Hashem. You know, it's funny. I mentioned last night that I started preparing, and I started preparing a whole dirasha based on the haftarah that's said on Shabbat HaGadol. But it was bothering me the whole time. I'm like, I don't know if we say this haftarah of Shabbat HaGadol. 90% of congregations say the following haftarah. It's in Malachi. וערבה להשם מנחת יהודה וירושלים כמעולם וכשנים כאן מוריות וקרבתי אל... Right? And then I called my good friend, Rabbi Jack Basul. He should be healthy and good. I said, what's the haftarah that we say? He goes, oh, we don't do any special... Don't do the one for Shabbat HaGadol. We do the regular haftarah for Tzav. I was like, oh boy, just created a whole thing. Legit spent hours going on it. But Baruch Hashem, I was able to find the connection between...
Rabbi,
yes.
we only say that haftarah when Pesach falls out on Motzei Shabbat.
Good. Comes Rabbi Jack.
The only way.
And he says, even when that happens, we the halabim still don't say it.
And he said, crazy.
Yeah, I know, that's true. And he said, but the Lebanese are totally normal. But anyway, but I did notice.
I have to laugh about that one, Rabbi.
I know, thank you.
Rabbi, the Sheikh the Torah, you like that on Rosh Chodesh?
Morty, you're not allowed to talk until he tells you.
Yeah, Morty, I didn't call on you, but that's okay. Anyway, but I did find, if you look in the haftarah, by the way, our regular haftarah, which we're going to talk about, it does make a connection to the dirasha that I made. So we're okay. Be'ezat Hashem. So let's just start by talking about the haftarah that we don't say, because it's still said by many Jews and it's connected to Shabbat HaGadol. There's a question like this. Shabbat HaGadol, which is coming up on Friday night and Saturday, what happened on Shabbat HaGadol? What's the big deal? Why does everybody go crazy about Shabbat HaGadol? And to answer that question, it's clearly brought down. What's brought down? It's brought down like this. On this day, which was the 10th of Nisan, we were commanded to take out the sheep. We were commanded to take out the sheep, which was the god of the Mitzrim, and to tie it around our beds. And it's called Shabbat HaGadol because the Mitzrim saw that we were taking their god and they didn't do anything. And so therefore it's called Shabbat HaGadol. But we need a little bit more understanding of what's going on over here, because that's not enough of an understanding. First of all, I'm going to read you from a rabbi called the Parasha. the Parasha writes like this. Ayen, in the Mordechai, Katav ezel leshono. Ma shetolin hanes b'Shabbat velo b'yom aseri lachodesh. Every single one of our holidays, our days of commemoration, are always a date. You never heard that it's on a Shabbat, which is totally unbelievable. If we want to remember what happened on the 10th of Nisan, then every year on the 10th of Nisan, we should say, we took the sheep, we took their God, they didn't say anything. That's what should happen. What in the world is going on now that we all of a sudden say, don't do it on the 10th of Nisan, do it on Shabbat. Call it Shabbat Hagadol. Explains the Dirisha. And he says, מפני שלא בא הנס אלא על ידי שמירת שבת, שמפני שידעו המצרים שהיו ישראל שומרים השבת במצרים. The Mitzrim knew that we keep Shabbat. And the Mitzrim knew that we cannot handle an animal on Shabbat. It's mukseh. And they said, so what happened? It was Shabbat. The 10th of Nisan, when we were in Mitzrayim, was actually Shabbat. The Mitzrim saw that we took a sheep. They're like, holy cow, they're taking sheep today. That's not normal. And that's why they noticed what we were doing. Otherwise, why would they even look at what we're doing? We know that the Jews we were shepherds. And we know the Mitzrim knew that. So all of a sudden, because it was Shabbat, they noticed that we were handling a sheep on Shabbat. There was like an extra noticing going on. And therefore, it's called Shabbat Hagadol. But because we kept the Shabbat, that's why the Mitzrim noticed that we had the sheep that was going to be brought for Korban Pesach. And that's why it's called Shabbat Hagadol. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because this year, the 10th of Nisan is going to be on Shabbat itself. This is the exact sequence of days that happened in Mitzrayim. The 10th of Nisan in Mitzrayim, all those years ago, was on Shabbat, and the actual day of Pesach was on a Wednesday night, Thursday, like this year, which is unbelievable because it doesn't happen all the time. To me, that's a very, very deep message. The deep message is just like in those days, we got a very big Yeshua. We got a very big salvation. On those very same days, Be'ezat Hashem, we're all praying and we're all hoping with all our hearts that we have a tremendous salvation, a Yeshua for the Jewish people, Be'ezat Hashem. Now, let's get into this a little bit. There's a haftarah that we don't say, but bear with me as I develop this point. It's absolutely very, very, very interesting and different. It says like this. We say by Havdalah, Hine anochi sholeach lachem et Eliyah hanavi. Right? I don't know if any of you guys say that in all the stuff that you say, that Hashem's going to send us Eliyah hanavi. And we continue by saying that Hashem is going to send the Yeshua that's going to be a gadol, a large Yeshua for the Jewish people. That's brought down in this over here. Hine anochi sholeach lachem et Eliyah hanavi. Hashem is going to send Eliyah hanavi. Lifnei bo yom Hashem hagadol vehanora. The reason why many people say this haftarah is just because of the word hagadol. That there's going to be a big Yeshua, a big salvation that's going to be large and big. And that's what we're saying on Shabbat Hagadol, that we should have a very, very big Yeshua, a very big salvation. There's another thing that it says in this week's haftarah. We say like this, Shuvu elai, return to me, va'ashuva alechem, and I will return to you. Amar Hashem Tzevaot. This is what Hashem says to the Jewish people. You take the first step to come close to me, and I'm going to return to you. We mentioned this when we spoke about Shir Hashirim. Remember we spoke about Moshcheni Acharecha V'Narutza. Hashem saying, I'm pulling you. But here Hashem's giving us that same concept. We have to first come back to Hashem, and then Hashem will take us all the way. But then, if you look in the Haftarah, the Jewish people answer Hashem with the most peculiar answer. And they say back to Hashem, come back to you. B'ma ashuv? What do I got to come back? I'm great. There's nothing wrong. Very peculiar. Hashem saying, come back to me. The Jews come back. It's like your wife comes to you and says, honey, you know what? I know you did some wrong things. You did this, you did that. You know, you insulted me. Just say you're sorry. No. Say sorry. What do I have to say sorry for? I did that for the first 5 years of my marriage, by the way. Maybe 10. Until I figured out it's going nowhere. Just admit and say you're sorry. Stop with the games. You're never going to win. She will win. So the Jewish people seem to be answering to Hashem saying, just come back to me. You know what they say? Come back? What? Me come back? I don't know what you're talking about. It's very important to look into what's happening. Now Hashem says, and the conversation continues. He says, you brought the ma'aser to me. You brought me ma'aser. We all give ma'aser of our tzedakah. And Hashem says, you know what? I'm telling you right now, you give tzedakah, you bring ma'aser, I'm going to give you guaranteed the money back. In fact, it says, he says, Lo eftach lachem et aruvot hashamayim, I will open up the windows of heaven. V'harikotem lachem beracha ad bilidai. I will give you so much panasah if you just test me with tzedakah that you're going to see. You're going to say, Hajjah, I can't take it anymore. I never saw a person say that about money before. I never saw a person say enough. I never saw that. But it's going to be so much wealth and so much money that Hashem's saying, test me, and I'll give you everything. And Hashem says, you know what? After I told you that, you didn't trust me. You know what you said? Amartem, shav avod Elohim. For nothing we serve God. Uma betza ki shomrenu. What's the point? What are we gaining? What's the point of doing this? So Hashem says, that's why I'm upset at you. That's why you have to make teshuvah. Because when I told you to give tzedakah and I tested you, you know what you said to me? Nah, no point. So first of all, this is so strange. They don't know what they said. They said that they said there's no point in serving you, Hashem. And they say, we don't know why you want us to make teshuvah. Continues the conversation. Hashem says, I made you my treasured people. I made you my people that I love. I had mercy on you like a father on his child that serves him. And still, you don't come back to me. And you don't even realize what you're doing wrong. So this is the conversation in the Haftarah. And if you look at the words, it's amazing. The conversation, just to recap, Hashem says, come back to me. Come back to me. We say to Jewish people, come back. I don't know what you're talking about. Hashem says, what are you talking? I told you that you could test me with ma'aser, do everything for me. Test me. You give tzedakah, I'm going to pay you back. And you said, what's the point? What's going on in this conversation? It's Hashem and the Jewish people. So we're going to start to answer these questions and come out with a very deep concept that's going to help us understand our job in Pesach and hopefully help us answer the question possibly of what does Hashem want from us in what's going on in the world today. You ever hear of the concept double time, overtime, you have to pay double wages, right? It's called like, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. You get paid $10 an hour, the guy stays another hour, now you get $20 an hour. He's doing the same thing, but that's how it works, overtime. There's two rabbis in the Gemara that actually found in the Mishnah. You might have heard their names before. One's called Ben Hehe, and one's called Ben Bagbag. For those of you who don't know Ben Hehe, I understand because it's not a Yaakov Shweki song, but Ben Bagbag is a Yaakov Shweki song. Ben Bagbag, Omer, right? Ben Bagbag says the following. If you look in the Torah, you keep on flipping it, you're going to find always something new. Who are these people? Who are these rabbis? And where did they get these names from? So our rabbis teach us that there were two converts. And the reason why the first rabbi's name was Ben He, because there's a He that went into the name Avram and made it Avraham. And there's a He that took the name Sarai and made it Sarah. So he said, I'm a convert, so I'm the son of Avraham and Sarah. And another rabbi heard this and said, wow, he's also a convert. I love that, but I can't take your name because you're already Ben He. So he calls himself Bagbag. A bet has a numerical value of 2, and Gimel has a numerical value of 3. Put it together, that's 5, that's He. So he had the same name, 2 converts. And they say the following question. The Gemara says like this. It's a Masechet Hagigah. Amale bar Hehe lehilel. Bar Hehe lehilel. My dichtiv. What does it mean when it says, and this is found in our Haftarah, Vishavtem. When you come back, Uritem, you will see Ben Sadiq l'Rasha. What's the difference between a Sadiq and a Rasha? Ben Oved Elohim la'asher eno Oved Elohim. To someone who serves God and someone who does not serve God. So it's very interesting. In the Pasuk, you have a Sadiq and one who serves God. Isn't a Sadiq a person that serves God? Isn't a righteous person a person who serves God? And this was the question that Ben Hehe asked Hillel. I don't understand this Pasuk. You're telling me a Sadiq and there's a person who serves God. It's the same person. Amale. So Hillel says back to him, Ivdu, an Eved and a Sadiq are 2 separate things. An Eved, a person that's an Eved Hashem, doesn't mean it does not mean that he's not a Sadiq or is a Sadiq. They're both Sadiqim. But there's a new level of an Eved Hashem. What's an Eved Hashem? Listen to this definition by Hillel. A Sadiq learns something 100 times. An Eved Hashem learns it 101 times. There's a famous story about the Gaon Mevilna. The Gaon Mevilna was huge. He was one of the greatest minds that ever lived in the 1700s. And he had a classmate when they were kids, and they both learned and learned and learned. And years later, the Gaon Mevilna came, and he bumped into this guy. This guy bumps into the Gaon and says, holy cow, you became huge. You have sefarim, you have books, you're rolling, you're huge. And I'm just a regular guy. What happened to me? He said, the Gaon Mevilna said back to him, you know what the difference is? When I learned, I did it 101 times. And when you learned, you did it 100 times. We all know that there's that level, that there's a level of learning, there's a level of pushing, there's a level of just being so accountable that you'll find, let's say for example, by a worker. And that worker, he'll just stay that extra 10 minutes, but sometimes that extra 10 minutes is everything. What's more frustrating than you have a guy, he's a great worker, he's working hard, he's doing everything, he's giving his all. And now it's 6 o'clock, his day's over, he stops in the middle of his doing. You tell him, you have 10 more minutes, just finish what you're doing. Just finish the project. Now I gotta go, 6 o'clock. Then you have another guy, he's exactly the same. But this guy, he's unbelievable. When he has a project, he finishes the project. That's the difference between 101 times and 100 times. That's the difference between an Eved Hashem and just a regular guy, a Sadiq. They're both Sadiqim, but one guy's on a new level. In fact, there's an unbelievable hint to this idea. If you take the numerical value of Zocher, remember, and you take the numerical value of Shocheach, to forget, the difference between them is 101. To hint to us that if you learn something 101 times, you'll never forget it. It'll stay with you forever. So there's something called dedication. And that's why a guy that works overtime gets so much more money, because he's dedicated and he deserves it. So there's a lot of talk in the Haftarah and in our Haftarah that we say on Tzav about an Eved. It talks about an Eved. It talks about a slave. What are we learning from slavery? What are we learning from Avadim? Why are we talking about this so much? And here's the answer. The answer is like this. The Rambam says like this, Bechol dor vador, in every generation, hayav adam laharot et atzmo kihilu hu be'atzmo yatsa. He has to look at himself as he himself, right now, himself, ata now, came mishe'ebud Mitzrayim. He came out of the slavery of Egypt. Shene'emar ve'otanu hotzi misham. It's us who he took out of there. We have to feel on the Seder night like we ourselves left Mitzrayim. And he continues. And he says the following thing. What is the first mitzvah that the Jewish people were given? The first mitzvah. So we all know, if you look, we read it by Parashat HaChodesh, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, Rosh Chodashim. The first mitzvah we're given is to make a Rosh Chodesh, right? That's the first mitzvah. Says the rabbis, no. And listen to this phenomenal derasha, crazy derasha. It says in the pasuk, Vayidaber, in Parashat Va'era, Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe. Hashem spoke to Moshe, ve'el Aharon, Vayitzavem, and he commanded them. El Bnei Israel, he commanded them to the Jewish people. Ve'el Paro Melech Mitzrayim, and to Paro. Lahotziat Bnei Yisrael mi Mitzrayim. You look at the pasuk again, you think it says Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, tell Paro and command them to let the Jewish people leave Mitzrayim. But that's not what it says. It says tell the Jewish people and Paro to let the Jews leave Mitzrayim. Why are you telling the Jewish people to free them from Mitzrayim? They're slaves. So there's a secret in here. There's a sod in here. In this Vayitzavem, in this word, they learn out in the Gemara Yushalmi. They learn out. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Yitzchak, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe ve'el Aharon Vayitzavem el Bnei Yisrael. There's a separate commandment that was given to the Jewish people. You know what that commandment was? When you have a slave, you got to free him on the 7th year. I'm not taking you guys out of slavery until you learn this halakha of freeing a slave. Why is it so important? Why is it so urgent that the Jewish people have to learn about freeing a slave before they could leave Mitzrayim? So I think this has a lot to do with what we're going through right now. We are living in a time where we're being held in our homes, and some of us are being enslaved by our wives for like 2 weeks already. Serious slavery going on over here. We're not free to go where we want. You can't even walk into a supermarket without waiting online with people sneezing on you. Now you got to wear masks wherever you go. You can't go anywhere. You can't leave the state. You can't go to Florida. You got to say, you can't do anything. This is a precursor for us to have a Yetziat Mitzrayim by the Seder table. This is not by accident. We have to feel. You know why Hashem taught them the laws of slavery and that you have to free a slave? Because precisely when they were slaves, they would be sensitive to what it means to be a slave. And when you're sensitive to something, you're a mikabel, you're ready to listen about it. But if you've never been there, you can't understand it. Our rabbis teach us that you can't judge a person till you're in his place. You can't understand how people live lives. We judge people so quickly because we don't know where they're coming from. If we would just know where people were coming from, we wouldn't be so quick to judge. So Hashem says, I'm going to teach you about freeing a slave when you are a slave. So you're going to be sensitive to what I'm teaching you now. There's a story of Rav Chaim Oizer Grudinsky. He was a great gadol, and he came to raise money. And he's raising money in the wintertime. And he goes to a certain person's house. And he gets to the door, he rings the bell. The guy says, Rabbi, please come in. He says, no, I'm okay. I don't want to come inside. I don't want to get your rugs dirty. He says, no, Rabbi, it's like 20 below. Please come inside. No, I don't want to. He goes, please, Rabbi, I'm freezing. I can't take it. Just tell me, what do you want? He goes, no, listen, I'm raising money for people that have no heat in their house. They have no jackets. He goes, oh my gosh, okay, whatever you need, I'll give you. What was the rabbi doing? He kept this person a little bit outside. Let him feel what it's like to be cold. Let him feel that feeling of being cold. And now he's going to be sensitive to a person that is cold. How many of us thought about people that are homebound till now? Did we ever think about the people that can't leave their homes? Do we ever think about the people that are on dialysis, that are stuck on machines? There are people that are going through all these things, but we just don't think about it. But now we're going through it. So now we're a little bit more sensitive to it. What is it like to be stuck at home? What's it like to not have a paycheck? What's it like to be worried about the next minute what's going to be with your Parasha? What's that like? All of a sudden, we're sensitive to it, and we understand it. An Eved, a slave, to truly understand what a slave is, it's very difficult for us. It's really, really hard for us because we're so used to so many freedoms. It's unbelievable. We live a life that is unbelievable. We have so many freedoms. But there's something about an Eved that we have to learn and take out of the Haftarah and take it, like I told you before, working that extra overtime, giving that little bit of an extra is so important. It means so much to Hashem. I'm going to tell you something. Hashem married us when we were slaves. Hashem picked us up when we were slaves. What does that mean? There's a famous story of a king. The king was old and he passed away. And he had a new son. His son was going to become the king. And they took this young guy, about 19, 20 years old. They were gonna coronate him and make him into the new guy. And he's on his way. And they tell him, listen, king, we're going to make you the king. We're going to put the thing again, whole thing with the crown, the whole item. They make this big ceremony. He's crowned as the king. The next step is a queen. They say, we have the most beautiful lady. She's waiting for you. She's back in the palace. We're going to have a beautiful, beautiful reception. They're on the way. As they're driving the carriage, all of a sudden, somebody jumps in front of the carriage. They stop the carriage short. It was a lady, dirty, mud, terrible, dirty. And she sticks her head in, and they're about to kill her. She's going to. The king says, "Stop." The king says, "Stop. I want to hear what she has to say." She says, "Please, I have no food. I'm so hungry. Please, I have nobody. I'm on my own. I'm searching. I'm looking. I'm in pain. Please." And she was smelly and dirty and horrible looking. Everyone says, "Get her out of here." The king says, "No. Nope. No. Bring her in. Bring her in. What are you, out of your mind? What do you bring her in? Bring her in the carriage." And we're going back. We're going back to the place we came from where you coronated me. We're not going to no princess, and I'm not going back to my palace. They go back, and he had another, in this place where they coronated him, it was another palace of his that he had. He said, "I want you to go, and I want you to take her. I want you to clean her up." They clean her up. They shower her. They give her everything. She doesn't know what's going on. She can't believe what's happening at this point. And they dress her. He says, "Give her my mother's gown." A few hours later, it's time for dinner. In walks the most magnificent lady they ever saw in their lives. Everybody was shocked. Beautiful, with a beautiful gown, so pretty. The new king was so excited. He says, "Sit her down. We're going to have a dinner together." They bring out the food. And what's coming out with the food? She runs and she puts her hands into the food and shoves it in her mouth. She's starving. She's licking the food. She's licking the plate. And one of the viceroys of this new king says, you see, what are you doing? What are you doing? Look at this person. You've dressed her up nice, but she's still like an animal. He says, no, you don't understand something. Give her some time. Give her a little time. She's going to be beautiful. She's going to be amazing. And he gave her some time, weeks and months, and they trained her. And she became such royalty. And she became the queen. Hashem saw in us qualities in Mitzrayim when we were in Avdut. Hashem saw qualities in us in Mitzrayim when we were in slavery that we never would have seen before. And the thing that he saw from us was a tremendous dedication, that we didn't change our names. There was no arayot. We didn't change our clothing. We stayed true to Hashem. You know what that is? There was a lot of things going on over there. But he saw the beauty of what our dedication of giving that extra time, giving all we had to Hashem. And it's a specific reason that Hashem wanted us to be in Abdut. He wanted us to be in slavery. You know why he wanted us to be in slavery? Because he wanted us to develop that extra level of dedication to him. And going back to our conversation in the beginning, when Hashem says, come back to me. What did he come back to? Why have to come back to you? Because you don't understand why? Let me give you the secret of what was going on in that conversation. There's a Gemara in Masechet Berachot. The Gemara in Masechet Berachot says the following thing. Amar Rabba bar Hana, Amar Rabbi Yohanan, Mishum Rabbi Yehuda, Berebi Eli. It was said in the name of Rabbi Eli. Bo ur'eh. Let's come and see. Shelo kedorot harishonim dorot ha'achronim. The previous generations are not like our generation. Dorot harishonim, the earlier generations, hayu machnisim perotehem derech traksemon. They would bring their produce to the front door. Kedei lechayevam b'ma'aseh. To make you chayab in ma'aseh. What does that mean? We don't live in an agricultural society anymore. But back in the day, when you had produce, you had to give ma'aseh. You had to give a tenth. So now, if you bring your produce through the front door of your house, you have to give a tenth. But if you bring it through the roof, it's a technicality. Through a technicality, you don't have to give 10% anymore. You get out of it. So the Gemara says the previous generations, you know what they did? Nah, they brought it through the front door. They wanted to give the 10%. Dorot ha'achronim. But us, the later generations, machnisim perotehem derech gagot. We bring it through the roof. Why? So that we become patur from ma'aser. Trying to get away with it. I tell the guy, what are you doing? Why are you not giving ma'aser? No, I asked the rabbi and I got the patur and I got the halacha and it's okay because I went through the roof. That might be beautiful and it might be true. But where's the heart? Where's the heart? A slave doesn't act that way. A slave is fully for his master. He's 100% in. He does it all. Our job in Pesach time is to take our mentality of a slave mentality and put it towards God. And do the extra stuff that we didn't want to do before. Test him. Hashem says, you could have just tested me. I would have given you everything. But you didn't want to test me. You tried to get away with it. And that's why the Jewish people said, I don't know what you're talking about, Hashem. Hashem's saying, I'm not talking about the letter of the law. I'm talking about the heart. And we see this all the time with relationships. In relationships, sometimes you get the heart and sometimes you don't get the heart. When you don't get the heart in a relationship, you feel it. It feels fake. It feels superficial. When somebody does something because they really, really mean it, there's nothing more beautiful for Hashem. There's many stories of people that did their best. Not everybody knows Hebrew. Not everyone knows how to pray. Not everybody knows everything to do. But they give their heart. They do their best. They try. That's what Hashem's looking for. So if we're going to think about what Hashem's asking from us right now, I believe what Hashem's asking from us is a little bit more of our heart, is a little bit more of thought of how I could do it in the best way. I'll give you a few examples. You're going to visit a parent or a grandparent. Now you could go and you could be just, I did it. I went. I did what I had to do. I got to the house. I saw her quickly and khalas, I'm done. But then you could really, really do it. You walk in with a smile. You bring some flowers. You put the flowers in a vase. You show the person that you're thinking about them. Small stuff, small things. These things could save marriages, by the way. A little chocolate out of nowhere comes to the house that buys you 2 weeks of peace. But that's what Hashem's looking for. And it says in the Haftarah that we're going to say, in Tzav, Hashem says, Ko amar Hashem, Sivalkot, Elokei Yisrael, Olotechem, Sefu al zivechem, Ve'echlu basar. Ki lo dibarti at avotechem, Ve'lo sivitim b'yom hotziot, Ameret Mitzrayim, al divrei olah v'zevach. What I asked from your forefathers, whatever I asked them, they did and more. They just wanted to do and do and do because they just have a feeling of love. And that's what we need to work on. We need to work on everyday thinking. Am I doing things that Hashem says, these are my people. They're thinking about me. They want to serve me. They want to grow with me. If we do that, we're going to see Yeshuot. We're going to see salvations. But if we think that we can continuously do things the way we've been doing it till now, it's not going to happen. We got to make that change. And everybody knows the item that they need to do. I can't tell anybody what they need to work on, what they could do better with more of a heart. It could be the most simple thing. When you say Modeh Ani in the morning, and you get up and you wake up, just thinking of those words. Or any beracha that you say, saying each word with thinking about it. Baruch atah Hashem, the source of all blessing, you God. Elokeinu melech haolam, the king of the world. Shehakol niyah b'dvaro. Everything comes through your saying. There's so much we could do. There's so much we could change. But we got to make it. We got to take that message. We have to realize that we have to come back and Hashem will come to us 20 million times more. But we got to take that step. This is the musar of the Haftarah, both the one that we don't say and the one that we do say. The message is, I'm not looking for you to just do religion out of rote. I'm looking to you to feel it and feel the excitement and feel the passion. And you know how you get there? By learning Torah. Like we're learning Monday nights, Wednesday nights in Masechet Pirachot. How much we're learning about Shema and about the Kavanot. It's unbelievable. There's so much to learn. And you become a big person. That's what we have to do. There's no other way out. The only way out is looking deep within us and making change. That's the only way out. We have to make commitments. I was thinking that maybe the shul should make a commitment. Everyone should make a commitment and even write it down. Say, Hashem, we want to come back. We want our shul back. We're going to make a commitment not to talk in a certain part of the tefillah, maybe during Chazarah. And the whole shul comes together with that commitment. Could you imagine what Hashem is going to say? In Shammai, he's going to go crazy. Look at these people. They want to do. I really want to start this. I don't know who could help me to spearhead it, but that everybody will sign on to say we make a commitment that when the shul reopens, we have a new foundation, that there's no talking in Hazara. One little part of the tefillah. Because I don't think it's realistic to just totally become, it's so hard to do.
Can we do Kaddish instead of Hazara?
No, too small.
Okay, just asking. Start easy, Rabbi.
You're a wise guy, Mark.
No. So wait. Where's Mark? That's the key. What you just said, the words, that's the key to everything. It's not easy. When something's not easy and you do it, then it's real. And it's something that has so much, it's so worthwhile. My daughter, one of my little kids, bought me a gift. Okay? She must have put together her last, I don't know what. Okay? Look at this thing here. It's a credit card holder. I guess she never saw. I never have cash on me. Dad, you have $5. No, I'll give you a credit card. But anyway, look at this with my name on it. What is that? This is worth more to me than if somebody would buy me a house. This is worth more to me. I'm gonna sleep with this tonight. I'm gonna hug it and kiss it.
So we should cancel the house, Rabbi?
Cancel the house. Well, I'll take the house too. I'll put this in the house. But the bottom line is, you see what that is? Mark, that to Hashem, us not talking in Hazara and realizing that we're going to do? We're going to say, we're going to sign. We're not talking in Hazara to show Hashem we love him and we want our shul back. Holy cow. What a Kiddush Hashem. This will be like fire through the community.
Rabbi, our whole life we've been talking. It's very hard to change.
I know. That's why
I understand doing something small, but even if you get one guy, you're gonna have another guy that walks in late. How you doing?
Just come after Hazara, Morty.
Let me tell you how it works. Change starts from within. Change never started with the other guy. You want to start change? I feel like I sound like Barack Obama right now. Change, I feel like Obama, okay? Change starts in yourself. If each one of us makes a commitment, I'm gonna write up this commitment letter. You guys text me, whoever's in, text. I want to send it to the chat or whatever it is. I'm ready to see a commitment. Whoever's in, think about it. By the way, you know what I love about you guys? You're all honest. You're like, I don't know, it's harder. And I appreciate that. That means it's going to be real. If you make the commitment, it's going to be real. Because if you're not planning on paying the pledge, of course, you'll say 18,000. You're not paying it anyway. But if you're really thinking about it, so then you're going to really think, wow, I got to think about it. This reminds me, by the way, of a time in the Chafetz Chaim's town. There was somebody that was very sick. One of the big people in the town was very sick. And they went they went around, everybody donated time from their life to this person. Can you imagine such a thing? One guy gave a day, one gave a week, one gave 5 months. They said, look, this guy's 50, we want him to go to 80. Everybody donate a little bit of their life. They go to the Chafetz Chaim, could you donate? He thinks about it for about 5 minutes. He goes, okay, I'm gonna give him 10 seconds. So what? That's what you're giving? 10 seconds of my life. You know what 10 seconds of my life is? He valued life so much to give 10 seconds was like a huge gift. So yeah, this is a big gift to Hashem, but it's a gift that we will gain from. We will gain from having something that we could say, Hashem, we're doing something to tell you we want to come back. If anyone has other ideas, no problem. But just remember, if something's a little difficult, then it's very, very, very valuable. It's very, very valuable. It's not so difficult for me to get flowers for my wife. It's very difficult for me to listen to her when I'm falling asleep at night and she decides she wants to talk about the bills at 11:30 at night. And it's like, and then all of a sudden they ask you, did you hear what I just said? Of course I did. And then they start the testing, the quiz. What bill did I ask you about? The big one. Which big one? I don't know. The mortgage, the electric. I don't know. We're not talking. That's harder. If something's hard, it's real. You know what? My son asked me to do a push-up with him yesterday. I almost fainted. I felt like my arms were going to fall off. It's hard. So let's see who's in. I feel that we could start a revolution. I feel like we could do it, but think about it. Nobody should answer yet. I love the fact that you guys are being realistic about it. I think it's beautiful. But at the same time, think about this challenge. Think about what we could do. You guys are the best. There's nobody like you. And I'll finish off with the picture I sent you before, because I think it's, again, the biggest chizuk of all time. Look at this. Hashem loves you. Look at that. He loves us. Look at that picture. So the bottom line is, it's time for us to make a change. If you're ready to do it, let me know. You guys are amazing. I'll see you all, Be'ezat Hashem. You're going to get the Chizuk Daily coming up, Be'ezat Hashem, tomorrow morning. And Be'ezat Hashem, we're going to have a lot of simachot together.
Amen.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.
Thank you.
Shabbat
Thank you for
shalom,
both
Rabbi.
of
Good
you.
night.
Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. And Boker